Hello and welcome to Master Your Mindset podcast. My name is Liz Jacoy. I'm your host, and I have the wonderful and exciting Kate Macumber here with us today. She's an energetic brand strategist and designer, and we'll go more into how and why she does what she does in a moment. I just want to encourage you to, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because the more we can get people start listening and tuning into this channel, the more people we can reach. And that's really important and crucial in terms of helping business owners, myself, and everyone to understand a bit more about how mindset is really everywhere in everything that we do. So welcome. And so today, Kate, as I said, is an energetic brand strategist and designer. And I had the opportunity, and she's going to explain a little bit more in a moment, to go through a process of self-discovery with her myself in terms of what is my energy blueprint together with, and it kind of made sense about some of the things that I do, but I won't go into that in too much. Well, I might draw in some of it as we're having our discussion. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Liz. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. Do you want to
Thanks.
give us a little more intro into what you do? That
Okay,
expand on what yeah.
yeah, yes. So I'm an energetic brand specialist, strategist. And what that means is that I help solo entrepreneurs help cultivate deeply rooted brands, their brand strategy, and then design their brand identity. And I integrate their unique energetics into their brand strategy. So they are showing up 100% authentic and they can navigate life and their business the way that their energy was designed to, and integrating really their innate abilities and natural talents and these strengths that initially you might not be quite aware of, but as you dig into your human design, your energetic blueprint, you kind of peel away these layers and they become more and more apparent, and you can really lean into them. We can integrate these elements into your foundation of your brand. So then you know you are in alignment. Your brand has much more depth and you can show up unapologetically in your business and in your brand. And then also creating the logo and color palette and the typography and really creating a whole brand experience for you and visitors, people coming to your website, really engaging them.
Wow, I can definitely, having done my branding a while ago, I could see how if I had done it with you, there's that attraction factor, that magnetic, right?
Yes.
When you're aligned with your energy, I've learned so much. I'm not a human design person, but I've learned a lot about energy and magnetic
Yeah.
attraction. I believe in law of attraction, but law of attraction stops or fails because people just think, well, I'm just going to manifest and I'm just going to sit back now. I'm like, well, no, you got to take action. And
Keep
so
working.
what I hear you saying is you've got this kind of law of attraction because your energetic is aligned with your brand, but you're
Yep.
taking action in alignment with that energy is
Yep.
going to be much more attractive and probably get a lot faster response from people in terms of
Yes.
attracting your ideal client. Is that right?
100%. That is exactly what we're doing. We're bringing your brand into attunement with your energy that is innately a part of you, which will then attract those clients, those customers that are on kind of the same vibration as you and will want what you're offering. They will automatically know that you can help them, help serve them, uplift them, heal them, and they will be very much drawn to you through your brand and how you're showing up.
Yeah. Can just in sort of a brief overview, because we'll go more into brand influence and mindset in a moment, but just so if you do turn out some terms there, like I know one is
Okay.
generator because we went over that and I'm a
Okay.
generator, but is there like how many are there? And can you just quickly go
Okay.
over them with a brief description? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sure. Should I say what human design is kind of briefly also for
Sure.
listeners
Whatever
that
you
aren't
feel is going to help.
familiar?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So human design is a kind of a newer system. There's astrology that's, thousands of years old, but human design was kind of synthesized in 1980s. So it's that new. And it is a combination of astrology, the Kabbalah tree of life, the chakra energy system, and neuroscience, quantum physics. It's all kind of, oh, the Chinese I Ching is really important in this also, and the 64 archetypes. And there's the shadow frequency, gift frequency, and the
Mhm.
highest manifestation. So there's a whole bunch of information in this system. And it's really the science of differentiation, of how we are different from each other. We all have these unique blueprints, and how our energy flows. And of course, our life experiences influence that as well. And it's a system of self discovery, like we were talking about, really learning about these traits that are part of you and parts that are more easily influenced. Like if you have open energy centers, there's a lot more influence and programming that can kind of be settled in there. You'll have to dig through that to really understand who you are, your beliefs, and what makes you you. So there are 5 types. Two of them are very similar. So generator and manifesting generator. And that means they have a defined sacral energy center, which is this life force energy. They have a lot of energy to work throughout the day. They don't really get tired. They don't need to nap very often. It's really important for generators and manifesting generators to do what is exciting to them, what they're passionate about. Then they really can work and what for very long hours if they're excited by it. And manifesting generators also have their throat defined. And that just means they can work faster, things manifest more quickly for them. They can be multi-passionate. They could be always kind of changing like their career direction. And then there are projectors, and they are non-energy beings, so they do not have a sacral defined. Um, and they do need to rest more often. They come into this world having a different worldview and are able to see things from a different, higher perspective, having a larger world view. And then
Mhm.
manifestors, they are here to initiate and put things into the world. They also don't have a defined sacral, so they have short bursts of energy. They can, they're kind of like the leaders where they have all these ideas just like filling them, and they're able to tell people. The generators are typically the ones who kind of carry out that work in an ideal world. But and then there's reflectors, and they are also non-energy beings. They don't have any defined energy centers. So
Mm.
they're one less than 1% of the population. And all their empty centers are kind of taking in everybody else's energy, and they kind of sample it and then reflect it back to them. So they're kind of like the barometers of the environment. If it's a negative energy, a poor environment, they will show it in their health,
Mm.
in kind of their attitude, the personality might also be negative. So it's really important for them to be in a healthy, positive environment. That was a really quick
Wow.
summary.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, because it's really because I think if people haven't been exposed to it, you don't want to give too much. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
the high level view is enough so that if they want any more information, we'll give them your contact information here and then they can
yeah,
contact you if they, to dive in deeper with that.
yes, it's
And so
very
what
complex.
I'm really curious about, because I am a generator, but I also find that I get all these ideas. I can see like pieces of the puzzle and then put them together, or I can see what's missing and
Okay.
that and go with that. So, and because when we talked about it, you were right that I do tend to respond. Responding to things is makes me feel happier. And you were right
Yes.
about that. I didn't know why. why do it's I always used to say that, I'm just spontaneous, but it's not. When you told me that
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
more of a responder, that made sense to me. So where would that fit in terms of me being able to see what's missing and then know that that's what's needed in the world? So is there kind of like an
Yeah.
overlap with some of these?
Yeah, there could be more in your chart. I don't remember all of the gates that we looked at,
No, that's okay.
but
We just did a quickie. And
yeah, there are some very specific gates and areas, energy centers that if they're defined, you do have this innately within you to be able to see the parts, but also the whole and see what parts are missing. So that could be a defined gate that you have. And also, the open centers also allow you to gain wisdom over time. So you're taking in other people's energy and information and sampling it, and then you're able to gain wisdom from that and share it back to your clients. So that is probably
makes
one big part. Yeah.
that makes so much sense. I love that so much. In terms of human design, how do you see that helping people when you're helping people, like when they come to you and you probably notice that they may have some things that they hold back or, they're
Right.
afraid of or fearful or, whatever, sort of, for lack of a better word, negative emotion they may have. How do you find that this human design influences mindset for your clients?
Oh gosh, it kind of helps them peel away those layers, like I was talking about. Like they've kind of put, not consciously, also like society and schools and people that helped raise you kind of put these layers of programming kind of just like ingrained in you, and it's kind of holding you down, holding you back. And when I introduced them into their unique energetic blueprint, there are so many aha moments that they also realize like, oh, like I had this feeling like this trait is a part of me, but this is just validating that's how I feel. And it's not a negative thing. Like, for instance, when I learned that I was a hermit, in your profile line, I'm a 2/4. Part of me is very shy, very reserved, and it's okay. It is so validating to know that it's actually, it can be a superpower being shy and reserved. And that's really one of the insights that turned around my whole perspective on my business, on myself, made me so much more confident. And I see that with my clients also, just digging into these really in-depth aspects, or I like to call them activations. Like this whole process is really helping you become aware, have an awareness of these traits within you, and having all these moments of insight and clarity, really lifting that what has been keeping you down, kind of suppressing you in a way. And then knowing you can lean in to those strengths and really use them in your business, because typically my clients' energetic blueprint is in alignment with what they're doing because they feel like it's their purpose. They're helping people. And so what I see in their chart is sometimes like I cry sometimes because I'm like, this is so much spot on and so empowering for them to know this, to just have this extra layer of depth, to know that they're doing the right thing. Like, this is what they came into this lifetime to do, to help these people. And it can be so empowering.
Yeah. And for me, like I mentioned earlier, when you told me about responding, it was kind of like that aha moment for me. My approach now is I'm not gonna, because business coaches, not to negate them, but they're very kind of strict and you got to do this and this and this and this. Well, sometimes it wasn't working for me, so I couldn't understand why. And so I thought I was being spontaneous and maybe I shouldn't
Yes.
be. But how you helped me was it changed my attitude in understanding that no, I'm responding to
Yes.
my intuition. And so
Yes.
the approach that I'm going to take is I know that I've always been intuitive as a child, but trauma, whatever, taught me not to use it. And so now
Right.
later in life as an adult, I started learning to trust it more and more, up and down, up and down, and up and down. But I know myself intuition is something I've been working on very deeply in the last year. And so for me, it's really changed my attitude towards myself and my approach and how I approach things in business. And hey, if things like this, doing a podcast on YouTube came to me one day and I
Mm,
responded to it. And
yes.
it's helpful to me and to other people and yourself. So I'm looking at it as a win-win-win because we're all learning,
Absolutely.
we're all
Yes.
wanting to change things, right? And in
Yes.
terms for you, knowing that you're what did you say, hermit? So you're
Yes.
shy, kind of introverted, I said. How did it change your attitude and approach now? Because you can still be shy and still be a hermit, but I'm sure it's changed your attitude and your approach in a way.
Yeah. It's giving me kind of that permission slip, like allowing myself to be in my hole and away from people, being able to hone in on my gifts. Like it's also two lines are also have like this natural ability to catch on to things very quickly. They do not research at all. It's funny. There's the one line is the researcher, and they are investigating, studying. I think you're one, and two lines don't do that at all. And I feel like it's sometimes to my detriment. But I also accept that all now too, where it's like I just have to hone in on my gifts, and I catch on to things very quickly. And also, as far as like social media and being like beating myself up, like I'm not on all the time, like it's okay. Like part of my energy is I'm not supposed to be on all the time. Um, and working on that too, maybe having a strategy where when I am lit up by something, I will create a bunch of content at once while I am excited about it and then put it out. And during that time, I am kind of having my alone time. So that is also, that has definitely changed in my life and in my business.
Yeah, I love that because I find then, like you said, we're not beating ourselves up as much.
Yep.
And what I also really, really, really liked is, and sometimes I forget to tell my clients, so thank you for this, is the giving permission, giving ourselves permission and allowing to truly be who we are. And I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you recognize too that, like you said, you may be shy and all these things, but you know that social media is important. And so maybe you only post two, three,
Yeah.
I don't know, was it you? Because we're also in a mastermind together. So I'm not sure if it was you or someone else I was talking to, but they mentioned that sometimes people will say, oh, you got to post 6, 7 times a week and do this one day and value and authority.
Yeah.
Like there's all these.
Yeah.
And what I've decided to do is if I can post 4 or 5 times a week, great. And there's some weeks
Mm-hmm.
like this week where it might not be, but I post whatever download I get. And I don't mean that
Mm-hmm.
in a woo-woo way. I'm sensing what is right for me to talk about because then it's going to come from my heart as
Yeah.
opposed to trying to contrive something. So would you
Right.
say that that's the responding, that's using
Mm-hmm.
my human design to really put out there into social media what I feel is necessary that day? Is that a good
Yes.
approach?
I think it is the most genuine, most authentic content that you can create when it's in the moment, especially for generators, and not having to force something out. Generators are not meant to initiate or force something out into the universe. You have to have that response feeling in order for it to be in alignment, to have your energy move in the least resistant way. So 100%. Like if you're inspired to put something out there, then that is the best way to do it. And then if you still want to have like the consistency, you can still have those types of posts, but they might not be as responsive or engaging. You can still have them though, but the ones that
Yeah.
you have these insights, this intuition are going to be the most compelling content that you have.
Yeah, because I think I got into that, you know, where a lot of other content writers or business coaches and stuff tell you, spend 2, 3 hours on a Sunday, get all your, write out all your content for the week. I tried that for a while, but it was so stressful,
Mm.
and I
Then,
just
yeah.
I'm it why cause me undue stress? And I think sitting down with you was also part of that aha moment. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that because that's what that's what works for me. And I don't think of one size fits all works for many people, right? Like it may
Yes.
work for what type of person would that work for? Like what type of human design would that work for? If they sat down every Sunday and worked out, a week or a month of content and not get stressed
Um,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is so nuanced and I don't want to fit it into a box, but I can definitely see like manifestors being able to just have all of their ideas and all of these action steps that they want to take and being able to sit down and do it in short bursts. They also don't have a ton of energy consistently throughout the day. Um, but I do, and it, yeah, it could be, it can vary, but for generators, for sure, just like having that inspiration. Because I'm a manifesting generator, so I can really connect to that.
yeah. And that probably helps you and others lean into our unique talents and abilities, like we mentioned. For me, I thought I was being spontaneous, but my attitude and approach now is no, I'm responding to what I'm feeling and using my intuition to what's out there, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's my talent. Even though I'm a generator, I can see what's missing. And it's like you said earlier, it's not something that just came to me. It's come to me from years and years of observing people, uh, careers, and
Mm,
like you said, drawing upon that wisdom that
yes.
finally connected all the dots for me, and now I can use it in
Yeah.
in my life. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
interesting. Can you share with us maybe an example or a technique from human design that really helps us create a unique brand identity with business owners?
Yes. We look at so many aspects of your chart. Your aura or your energy type is kind of can relate to your communication style. Like generators and
Mm,
manifesting generators are very passionate and can be intense and excited and really magnetic, drawing them in. Projectors are wise and very much like your best friend, and they help guide you. And then manifestors are bold and piercing and initiating. They're trailblazers. And then reflectors are also very wise. They have all these open centers. They're kind of like uh, the wise elder in a village, just kind of people come to them for understanding, and they have a very reflective quality. So that can kind of be a very general um, communication style. And then your sun, your conscious sun, and what gate it is your brand. I also use Gene Keys, which is an offshoot of human design, and that's where they use the I Ching and the different expressions of each gate to really contemplate and go become very introspective of what frequency are you at. Are you in the shadow? How can I move from the shadow into the gift? And sometimes, like, the highest expression is your full potential. How can I incorporate this energy, this feeling into my brand? How can I push myself to become and reach my fullest potential? And typically, the sun sign is really prominent in your life. It's 70% of your being. So when you interject that into your brand, people are going to understand you right away. Um, so that is another area that we look at. And then incarnation cross is kind of a generalized way to say your purpose. There are four huge themes that kind of run throughout your life when you're living in alignment, when you are using your strategy, like responding, and using your authority to make decisions. It will just come to you. You're not forcing it. But I do like to look at that and how it relates to your business, the purpose of your business, why you're here, what you're doing. It typically supports what you're doing. So I like to use the language from your incarnation cross. Even your Mercury placement is huge. It's the message that your soul came here to share with the world. And that's typically on point as well. So all these aspects, we use the languaging, we use the energy, the vibe, the feel from it to create this beautiful painting of you, of your brand that is so unique, that is so you. Nobody else is like this at all. So really bringing that to life out into a visual representation, into the right kind of messaging. And also looking at the audience that you want to attract. What kind of qualities do they have? What we can look at certain things in your chart that tell us the type of messaging you can be using to bring those people in. So that's a few
Mm.
different examples.
Yeah, I like that because as you were talking, I could see if, when let's say, embark on doing this with you, I could see how much more confident I would
Yeah,
become and how much more aligned with my true nature and purpose and what I see, how I want to impact people in the world, what that true impact is. And then that attraction will happen at a higher frequency, right? Because I believe in frequencies and
yep,
vibrations and
yep,
energies and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, that would I really like that. And that kind of brings me to the next question because you mentioned, making decisions. And there's
yes,
something that when I was reading, or you had sent me something, I can't remember now, but you had mentioned something about making decisions outside of our mind. What does that
right.
mean and how do we do that?
Yes. So getting out of your mind and into your body, really, to make decisions. So we are so inundated with information, and also our ego, our defense mechanisms, keeping us safe, keeping us comfortable. And that is, part of our evolution when we were Neanderthals, or, we had to have those defense mechanisms to keep us safe. And we don't need those anymore. So we're still stuck in this mindset of overthinking, overanalyzing, not taking risks. And human design is all about not making decisions with your mind. It's with
Mm,
generators, we have emotional authority or sacral authority. If you're emotionally defined, you just wait for your emotional wave to be neutral, and then you rely on your sacral. You will have this ooh kind of guttural sound when something lights you up, when it's a yes. And if it's a no, it's a mm-mm, and you kind of like are repelled by it. So I am so, it was so enlightening to become in tune with this for myself. Because like I know my body is saying yes, my mind is telling me not to do it to keep me safe. or my body is saying no, but I feel like I have to say yes. And then
Mm,
there are so many other, there's 9 authorities altogether, and the projectors could be emotional authority or they could be splenic authority. So that's like in the moment, like this intuitive hit of yes or no, you got to act on it right now, which could be difficult to hone in on that feeling. And there are also mental projectors and self-projected projectors where it's really, they just need to like talk things out, have a sounding board, have somebody reflect back to them their thoughts and feelings about a subject. So it's really just stop overanalyzing, stop overthinking this decision, just get quiet and listen. And also in the moment, leading in the moment, which like I love what you're talking about. You're just following your heart now. It might not make sense, but you have this feeling. You're responding to something and you're following it. And that is the definition of living in alignment. Like you see things coming to you, things happening for you, and you're not overanalyzing it. You're not overthinking it anymore. In the past, you might have second guessed yourself or doubted those decisions that you made. But human design is all about following that feeling, even if it doesn't make sense.
mhm. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm very much, ooh, I'm not going to do that, or yes, right? Like it's definitely a gut
Yeah,
reaction. But
gut
sometimes I
reaction.
still, like you said, sometimes even though I get that ooh and I still do it,
Yes.
afterwards, like I should have trusted my gut. But
Yes.
sometimes I have to wait because I still think it's a good thing. Like I joined a networking group, right? And because
Okay.
I had to spend money, my gut went, ooh. So I'm like, okay, now is it really about spending the money or is it really about the gain, right? The abundance. Like which one is it? Because I don't know. I mean, many of us may have had some money issues, growing up and stuff like that. So that's something I'm working on still is recognizing now, is it
Yes.
really, really just tied to some money issue that I didn't, that I'm still harboring from childhood? Or, is
Yep.
this so then I take a pause and I really sort of breathe and sort of watch and listen and attend the
Yes.
group maybe 2 or 3 more times before I make that decision and commitment to spend the money. And that's a good
Yeah.
thing if that group allows you to do that, because if they just want it right away, it's like, I'll back off. But if they allowed me the opportunity, right? So it's no
Hmm.
longer was it a problem spending, investing in that networking group,
Yeah.
knowing that it's really going to be an abundance factor for me. I still get that tug, that push and
Yes.
pull, but sometimes it's like have to analyze where is it really coming from, right?
Yes, definitely. Go really getting quiet, asking yourself those questions, or have somebody else ask you those questions and see how it lands in your body. I mean, even
Yeah.
to practice that sacral authority is questions about dinner. This is like having somebody ask, do you want this? And then you listen. And do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? And that you can really start to understand that feeling and know what it feels like.
Yeah. Sounds wonderful. Well, we're just coming to a close shortly here, and I just want to see if there are 3 things that you want or lessons that you want our listeners to take away from today.
Okay. So the first one that I like people to know is, especially if they're dealing with imposter syndrome, that
Mhm.
we, like, yes, your industry might be oversaturated. There might be a lot of people doing what you do. Nobody else is doing it the way you do it. Nobody else has your unique energetic blueprint with those innate strengths and abilities like you do. Everybody has a piece of this beautiful, immaculate painting. Everybody is a part of it, and we need your unique energy, the unique way you do things and look at things, your natural abilities are huge strengths of what make you different. And there are certain people that will want to work with you. And kind of building on top of that is if you are able to say no to some clients, if you have that feeling, if they're kind of red flag clients, saying no to them will open up space for you to get those dream clients. And it will allow them to find their aligned service provider or whatever industry that you're in. Um, and also just again, yeah, getting out of your head, out of your head, overthinking things, really feeling into how your body feels to make decisions will bring you onto the right path.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. And so, what's the best way for people to get hold of you? And maybe do you have someone specific that you're looking for? And do you have like a system, like you have a quick call, like what's your system and
Oh,
how can they get hold?
yeah. So my email is Kate at nurture-branding.com, or my email is website is www.nurture-branding.com. You can schedule a discovery call if you just want to kind of chat about what's going on in your business, how energetic branding can help you. I'd love to do that. And then also the first step that people like to take is my energetic brand insight session. So similar to what I did with you, but twice as long and twice as in depth to really bring out those aha moments, bring some clarity and guidance. And then if you want to move on to your brand strategy and incorporating that to really have that aligned brand, have more depth, just having more, I feel it's just like this magical blanket that you get wrapped up in. um, Using your innate blueprint, the way that you're supposed to kind of unfurl like a flower, like, the seed has like this predetermined energetic blueprint and they follow it naturally. So this is what we're doing with your brand. We are taking that seed and the way it's designed to unfold naturally into your brand and how you can show up in the world. So if you're interested in doing that, I'd love to just have a discovery call and see how I can help you.
Sounds great. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to be on the podcast today. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure we'll see and talk to each other again.
Yes, definitely. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me, Liz.